What's up YouTube, and welcome to my pickups video for the month of June 2025. Did a little bit of travel this month, nothing too crazy, but at the very beginning of the month I went to the Illinois Game Con in Bloomington-Normal, Illinois. Been at least 3 or 4 times now, and pretty good con, honestly. It pulls from several states due to its location. The city itself is not that big, but it's got nice proximity to Chicago, Indianapolis, Iowa, St. Louis, you name it. So you see vendors from kind of all over the place. Got some interesting stuff there as usual, and then I had a work trip to Oklahoma a couple weeks after that. Didn't find anything out there actually this trip, and other than that I just had one local find. So pretty mild month, to be honest, but I do have more travel coming up in July, so hopefully I have some other crazy stuff to show when we get to that point. But let me talk about my local find here first. I got a Nintendo 3DS probably just a little over a year ago. I was very late adopter to getting that system, and honestly haven't really built much of a library for it. I really liked the original DS, but for some reason the 3DS didn't click with me the same way. But I did find this at a local store and decided to go ahead and get it. It's Pinball Hall of Fame, the Williams Collection. This came out on a lot of different systems, and I have it on PS3 is probably the best version I have. But then it even came out on other systems before that as well. So if you want this game, you can get it easily on lots of systems. But I thought it would be cool to have this on a portable system just for flights and things like that. I really do like vintage Williams pinball tables. I wish there were sequels to this compilation, because I feel like there's a lot of games they made that would be great to see in this treatment. But ultimately, we just got this one, and then the whole thing kind of died off. There is a European PS4 sequel, I guess I should count, that I have in my collection. But other than that, the rest of them were all just digital. So this one has some popular tables on it. It's got Pinbot, Black Knight, Space Shuttle, Gorgar, Funhouse, Taxi, and then my personal favorite, which is Whirlwind. I have a long history of playing Whirlwind. It was a staple at one of my local bowling alleys growing up, and it was one thing that I always wanted to play every time I went bowling. So nice to have this on the go. I haven't played it yet, but on my next trip I'm going to be sure to put some time into this for sure. So hopefully it's a good version of it and it translates well to 3DS. Might be a little difficult to see with the small screen, but I'm thinking it'll be okay. So that is that. Believe it or not, everything else I got in this video is from the con. So didn't spend a fortune this year, which was kind of nice. I had budgeted more money and I actually came home with money in my wallet, which was cool. But I did get some cool stuff over the course of the day, and ultimately the con is now bigger than ever, and so there was some pretty cool stuff there, just not a whole lot of stuff that I decided to buy. Probably the most surprising booth, I would say, is there was one vendor that had a massive collection of Sega Genesis and Sega Master System stuff complete in the box. Looked like somebody had broken up full sets, because they even had things like James Buster Douglas Boxing for Master System complete in the box. In all my years of hunting, I have seen that game like maybe 2 or 3 times. So it is very, very difficult to find. But what really perked my attention about this collection was there was a lot of European Master System exclusives that they had in the table that I thought were really neat, and there was a few that I knew of that I decided to pick up. So that's what ultimately I got from the vendor. I asked them what the story was, and just, were they piecing out one of their personal collections? They said they actually just bought it this way and were selling it off. So I imagine at one point it was somebody's full set and it's just being piecemealed out, which is kind of sad. But the first thing I got is Air Rescue for the European Master System. And again, this was one I was aware of. It was kind of on my to-get list for a while, and I decided to go for it. So what is very interesting to me is Sega had a very big attraction to Choplifter, which was a game they didn't even develop themselves originally. And we did get Choplifter on the Sega Master System in the US. It was kind of their translation of that. I believe they even had like an arcade Sega Choplifter that they made that was kind of like their version of the original Choplifter game that wasn't developed by them. And then you have this game, Air Rescue, which came much, much later. This was a '92 release. And basically it still plays like Choplifter. It's just like a very graphically enhanced, more modern version of Choplifter. The other weird thing about this game is that Air Rescue was an arcade game. However, they went in a completely different direction with this Master System release. The arcade version is, I can't remember if it's System 32 or System 24, but it has kind of like quasi 3D graphics that obviously wouldn't work on this Master System version. So this one plays more just like a straightforward 2D Choplifter type game. But some interesting locales, good gameplay. Very difficult, I will say. I got to maybe the third stage of 5, and I kind of threw in the towel for at least the time being, because it's pretty hard. But it is a fun game, and can recommend it. This was Japanese developed by one of the Sega teams, so it is kind of a first-party release, and I think probably not a whole lot of people know this one, because it never even came out in Japan. So kind of an interesting release, and always wanted to get that one. The next one I got was another one that was an arcade game that took some liberties. And this is a Taito release for the Sega Master System. This is Space Gun. I have played the arcade version of this. It's a unique game where you have to like look into a scope to shoot aliens in a space base, I guess would be the best way to explain it. And that 3D nature of it wouldn't really work for the Master System, and obviously that viewpoint, because it is very unique to the arcade that you have to play it that way. But it does work with the Sega Light Phaser, so they did put in support for that, or you can just play it with a control pad. This one also came out in '92, so this one was another one that didn't even get a Japanese release or a US release, just came out very late for the European Master System. Very cool artwork on the front. I believe it's the same as the arcade flyer, or at least some of the arcade artwork, so they did a nice job with that. And I will say I played this one. I didn't feel like digging out my light phaser. I have one and I have a CRT to play it on, but I just played it with the control pad. It's very easy with the control pad, so I'm guessing the game's a little bit more difficult with the light phaser. I probably got pretty close to beating it just in one sitting, and decided I probably should stop just so I can experience it with the true light gun experience the next time. But kind of a fun game, not exactly like a top-tier Master System game, but I do think that for a Taito game of the era, and getting to see this on the console was pretty cool. So, nice to find that. The vendor had other stuff. I kind of wish I'd gotten a few other things. He had a lot of like the licensed cartoon character games for the European Master System, but I didn't really know what was good and what was just whatever. And then I have some other Euro Master System exclusives already that were present in the collection that I would have been very excited to find had I not already had them. All the other games and stuff like that I got from the con were PS1, but I'll show you one other thing I got as accessory as well. This is another Taito release. This is a Japanese exclusive called, I think Europe got this game as well. US did not, called Pucci Carrot. This is also an arcade game brought home. And this one is kind of a variant on Arkanoid and a puzzle game, I guess I would say. Very cute characters, colorful, kind of what Taito was known for back in the 90s. Very, fun to play. Does support the DualShock controller, which was kind of new at the time when this came out. But the main reason I wanted this game is it does support the Namco volume knob controller, which works as a paddle controller for the PS1. It was officially licensed. And I do like collecting games that support that, because it does actually give you really good play control for most of these Arkanoid-style games. It also supports the PlayStation mouse, so you can play it with that as well, and I haven't tried it yet, but I'm sure that would work just perfectly fine also. Why I stumbled at the beginning, and I forgot, is Europe got a version of this game that actually packed in a variant of the volume controller, so that is kind of cool. I wish we would have got that whole set in the US. I feel like this could have easily made it here as a budget title, but unfortunately it just wasn't the case. So neat to get this, and looking forward to digging out my volume controller and playing it with that. But nice vendor I got this from. It's in really nice shape. It's got the spine card, all that kind of stuff, and he cut me a deal on it, so I was very happy. The other things I got for PS1 at the con were demo discs, and I am not going down a rabbit hole of chasing down all the demo discs for PS1. I know there's a lot of people doing that. I refuse to succumb to that pressure because there's just way too much to collect. But a couple of these caught my eye. They were both at the same vendor's booth, and what I noticed about a lot of the stuff he had was it was like former E3 giveaways from the late 90s. He obviously was an attendee and was just kind of emptying out his goodie bag from back in the day. But I think some of the stuff was kind of cool that I found. So I got these very cheap, and came to find out one of these is actually pretty expensive after the con. First one of these was just a Best Buy exclusive demo disc. This one has, let's see, Medieval, Gran Turismo 1, Spyro the Dragon 1, and Crash Warped on it. I just thought it was kind of nostalgic with the Best Buy branding on it. I don't remember what the story was on this, whether it was like a pre-order bonus or whether you got it with the system or whatever. But either way, nobody's ever opened this, and I probably will just leave it sealed as well. I got it just because I bundled it with the other demo that he sold me, so he was perfectly willing to pass this on. I figured, why not? But the other one caught my attention because I knew I'd never seen this before. I just decided to go for it, and then after the fact, like I said, I found out that this is pretty desirable. So, the PlayStation Underground magazine was obviously Sony's official licensed magazine on a disc thing that you could subscribe to. I think you got like 3 or 4 of them a year. I don't collect all those. I have a few of them, but definitely not going for the set. But this is kind of like the unofficial part of the set that collectors really are looking for now, which is the best of PlayStation Underground Year 1. It comes in this slim case. This is still factory sealed. And the deal with this one, at least the rumors I've read online, is that this was given away at E3 in maybe '98, just to be a preview of some of the stuff you could get from PlayStation Underground if you decided to subscribe. So I don't think a whole lot of these survived, at least especially not sealed. And, you know, I just think it's cool that this was probably sitting in this guy's closet forever, and he decided to empty out his goodie bag that he got back at the con back in the day. He had some other stuff too, just like stickers from some of the game companies and things like that. I have a lot of that stuff already. I decided I didn't want to push it by bringing a bunch of that stuff home, but this was definitely a nice find, and I'm finding out that this is pretty difficult to get now, and there's several people going for the full PlayStation Underground set that this is their grail, I guess, that they're looking for. So I'm probably going to hang on to it just because I think it's neat coming in the slim case and all that, and it's a little bit different than the other PlayStation Underground discs, but ultimately just another demo that has pretty common stuff on it as far as I understand. Alright, well, I saved the best and or the worst for last. This was my other con impulse purchase. I had no plans going in that I was looking for this, but I also know that I've wanted one of these for years for some odd reason, and I just never bought one. So if you've watched my videos for a long time, you know that I obviously have a big NES collection, but also I have a very large collection of janky NES accessories, and this was one that clearly was a hole in my collection that I needed to get. So I present to you the LJN Rollin' Rocker. It's a beast, so I don't even know if I can get it all in frame here, but this is a plastic hunk of junk would be the best way to explain it. But to give a little more detail, if you're unfamiliar with this accessory, it's really goofy. Basically, it has a Nintendo controller port on one end, so you would think, oh, okay, so I'm going to plug this into the system, and then this does something, right? So the way this works is you actually stand on it, and it rocks back and forth, up and down, as a D-pad. Which would be all well and good if it actually, like, you know, was reactive and worked well, which it doesn't. But the other part of it is there's another piece that you need to know to make this thing work, and it has another controller port female on the upside of the Rollin' Rocker. So what is this for? Well, this thing can simulate a D-pad, but what you're missing is it doesn't have anything to simulate the A, B, or select start buttons. So you still have to plug a controller in it and hold the controller while you rock around on it like a dummy. So it's very worthless in its actual function. It works very poorly for most of the games that I've at least attempted it with. I think it has a weight limit on it. I didn't break it. The plastic's pretty durable, actually, and so I don't know, if it's 100 pounds or less, but either way, it didn't break with my weight on it, so that's a plus. I probably will not be using this thing very frequently, if ever again, but I just wanted one of these for my collection. So nice to have this. No, it's not original box or anything like that, but these things don't come up too often, and probably for good reason they sold very poorly, and I'm guessing most of these went in the trash rather than actually kept over the years. So that was my surprise find. These things, I don't even know what the current value is on it, but the guy, I just had it on his table. I asked him how much. He said like 40 bucks. I was like, do I really want this thing for 40 bucks? I came back a couple hours later. I was like, yeah, you just want to get rid of that thing for 20 bucks? And he said, sold. So I don't think it was a big deal that he was happy to move this thing on. So it will now rot in my closet for probably many, many years, but nice to get a weird piece of NES history in my collection. And Nintendo did officially license this hunk of junk. So that gives you an idea of what kind of quality they were after back in the day. But that about does it. Like I said, a fun con. Happy to get some weird stuff there, if not a lot of stuff. And I got another con coming up in July. Mo Game Con, my local con, is at the end of the month. So probably we'll have some stuff from that to show as well. But thank you very much for watching. Please take a moment, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. And I will talk to you soon. Have a great day or night, wherever you are.